All right, so I want to show you like a little concept build. I think it can work very well versus the Empire. And I also want to highlight the role of the White King. I think it's an often overlooked hero. It's not super powerful relative to, like say a High Elf Noble or some of these other, like paladins and other things. But they have a role to play, and they synergize extraordinarily well with Isabella von Karstein. So this is one of my favorite vampire lords, and I think she's like she combos super well with cavalry. Let's just zoom in on here a little bit. There she is, looking so suave, riding sideways on her little bone horsey friend thing there. And the reason why I like Isabella so much is she has an item. I'll just show you it really quick. Uh, right here, Blood Chalice of Bathory. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but anyway, you get the idea. The idea is that it can heal lords or heroes, so that synergizes extraordinarily well with the White Kings. If you bring two White Kings plus Isabella, you can use that chalice on any of these three characters, right? So if the damage is being taken by this White King, you can pump him up. If it's by this one, you can pump him up. If it's by Isabella, you can pump it up, which means that those three are extraordinarily hard to take down, and it gives you like a leadership anchor in your build, and also something that can fight, like really elite things. And the other thing is, because if you take the White King, you are going a little bit like more narrow. So it's good to have something to deal with, balled up lines of troops or archers or things like that. And a nice option, like I think it's overlooked, is this Scab Scrath. I You get 3 casts of it during the battle. So if you bring 2 White Kings, that gives you 6 casts. If you have a line of infantry, like you can really punish archers. You can punish unarmored things like flagellants. In this case, my opponent brought 3 of them. So it's really nice to have that utility, because all you have to do, like your infantry usually is not going to win you the fight as vampire counts unless you go like Hermann Gorst or something like that. So you just need it to hold for a little while, and then once it's holding in the hold position, you got the White Kings who can drop those scab scraps. So just an initial pushing up. I'm gonna just let it run and talk as it goes. I noticed right off the bat, like this wizard on the Empire team was unsupported. So it is a light wizard. Yes, he could freeze me in place, but there was no archers or like crossbowmen or handgunners anywhere in the Empire build. All there was a witch hunter, and the speed of the light wizard is only 105, which it's very good, but fellbats are lightning fast with a speed of 110. So I knew that if the fellbats could catch the light wizard, I would be able to snare him, and I brought 2 units of Vargeist who are going to be able to follow that up. So right off the the initial opening, I go straight in and try and eliminate the magic from the outset. Meanwhile, I hide all of my forces into the woods because the Empire does have a Luminarch of Hysh, so you absolutely have to respect this thing. I did not want my heroes getting sniped off the map right at the beginning. I'm not sure where that shot's going, but sayonara. Meanwhile, this mage is having an absolutely terrible day. Vargeist are just going to chew through him. Yes, Faw's protection is popped, but now with the second Vargeist unit in here, like it's just a matter of time. It's going to crumble. My zombies, they do an initial heroic screen. They just buy me a little bit of time. I want my Vargeist to be able to come back and help my forces if and when that's actually necessary. But basically, I'm going to just fast forward a little bit here. The Vargeist and the Fellbats are going to see them off to the edge of the map, and then they'll come back here and they'll start picking on the Luminarch of Hysh. I've got a couple units of Black Knights in the back line. I think Black Knights are sort of unsung heroes of the vampire counts. They look super cool, and they only cost about 700 G. So you can use them to interrupt infantry charges. You can use them to pin other large units in place, and you don't have to worry about them getting shot up because they're not very expensive. Luminarch of Hysh, maybe it's trying to snipe out these Vargeists here. it's not, that's not an optimal use of the Luminarch's ability. I mean, it has a huge missile damage. The Luminarch of Hish, in my opinion, there's one thing and one thing only it should be shooting at, and that is characters. Like it's a snipe leadership off of the map. Like maybe you could try and snipe other large things like a Ragnarok spider or something like that, but like you certainly don't want to be engaging in any artillery duels with the Luminarch because it is very flimsy. So main engagement's underway here. My opponent has brought the Archlector, who's going to buff all of his troops. Archlector is very tanky, and he looks super cool. If you look at the Archlector, he's got 120 armor, and then with the damage reduction buffs that he can pop, I mean, it's going to be very hard for me to kill him. And yeah, so he's dropped the Grand Hammer of Sigmar, Grand Shield of Faith, Grand Soulfire. So there is a lot of pressure being put on my front line here. Empire Knights have come in here. They're dishing out a pretty solid beating with 52 damage, right? So my front line is starting to have a hard time. Black Knights come in on the rear. On the right flank, Sternsmen not in the ideal position. They should have been over here in the front line. So good on my opponent for catching them out of position with the Empire Knights. I'm starting to worry a little bit here that this front line is going to collapse. So Isabella and the two Wright Kings are like, okay, we got to get in here quickly and take out the Archlector. So you'll notice as the battle goes on, I'm going to try and reposition them and basically assassinate the Archlector, which is not an easy thing to do because, like I said, it is very tanky. I summon a unit of skeleton warriors in the back here. I just want to put a rear charge in, so maybe I can lower the leadership a little bit and maybe get some attacks in the back. Over here, the Black Knights have come in to reinforce against the Empire Knights and seems to be turning the tides of battle a little bit here. Again, the Sternsmen are just absolute beasts. They are fighting some great swords right now, which is not a good matchup for them, but they're going to hold for a little bit while over here, the real work gets done. I need to take this Luminarch of Hish off the board. Flagellants have done an admirable job. Admiral? I don't know. They've done a good job defending it. But they have no armor, and with all of those fell bats here, like the damage is going to add up and whittle down their numbers. And the Luminarch is, at this point, it's terrified from those Vargheists, and so basically they're just going to be pursuing it and eliminating it right off the map. The Flagellants don't have the mass to pin the Vargheists in place, so the Vargheists are free to harass the Luminarch as much as it wants until it's dead. So things are looking really sketchy here. The front line has entirely collapsed for me. All of these Flagellants with the buffs of the Archlector and the Great Swords have just chopped this right to pieces. So my heroes are isolated, but good thing for vampire counts, unless you're out of Winds of Magic, you're pretty much never out of troops. So I just summoned some more zombies here so that my heroes don't get completely isolated. And then again, I'm just pushing the White Kings in on the Archlector. And if they can get there, see that big scrape that just went down in the back? And there's another one. You see that red line? So just absolutely cutting right across the troops. Let's see how these Wright Kings are doing now. So this one's up to 37 kills. This one's up to 22 kills. So not huge, but it did do some pretty good HP damage there. So I'll take it. Corpse Guard it's been hanging around here, just kind of buffing the melee attack of my troops so that they can at least dish a little bit out while they're taking it. Skeleton warriors here. I guess they were chasing something. I probably should have had them on guard mode and pulled them in. Great Swords are still trading with the Sternsmen. It's a good trade for the Empire, but the Sternsmen are no chumps. They'll hold on for a while here. Black Knights, I guess are they readying for a rear charge? And there it goes. Oh, let's get in on this. Here comes. Oh, these. Oh. Great Swords had no idea what was coming. So the balance bar is pretty heavy in my favor. Luminarch is gone. These guys are going to jump down on the Witch Hunter and then just kind of clean things up from there. So I'm going to fast forward. We do take out the Archlector in the middle, and then it's pretty much academic from here on out. So hopping to the replay. like the Wright Kings, they did okay. They still had a few more uses of their Scriff. I don't know how to pronounce that, but if it came down to it, Isabella von Karstein, like she's just chilling. She can heal forever. She had full health, and she could have put the health up of these White Kings forever as well. The Vargas and fell back combo is very, very useful. I think Isabella is like especially good with Blood Knights, but I wanted something that could fly over the Empire Spears or Halberds if they overextended, and that gave me like the option to force the Empire to keep a very tight formation. So if I were the Empire player, you know, Luminarch of Hysh, it's like it's a home run swing basically. You either like win the game because of it, because you have a clear line of sight and you can snipe at the heroes, or you just lose. And with Isabella von Karstein, I mean, I did have access to some pretty potent heals, so unless it could like two-shot me, I wasn't too concerned about it, and especially with the cover of the woods, I had something to fall back into. But overall, very fun game. The last thing I would say, again, just a reminder, Light Wizard, you want to protect it with either some anti-air support or something else that can fly up there, maybe an Empire Captain on a flying mount. So fun game, and thanks very much for your attention. Okay, bye.